to the Taking New Ground 21-Day Fasting and Prayer podcast from Pleasant Valley Baptist Church. Today's reading comes from the book of Joshua, chapters 18 through 21. Chapter 18. The entire Israelite community assembled at Shiloh and set up the tent of meeting there. The land had been subdued before them, but 7 tribes among the Israelites were left who had not divided up their inheritance. So Joshua asked the Israelites, "How long will you delay going out to take possession of the land that the Lord, the God of your fathers, gave you? Appoint for yourselves 3 men from each tribe, and I will send them out. They are to go and survey the land, write a description of it for the purpose of their inheritance, and return to me. Then they are to divide it into 7 portions. Judah is to remain in its territory in the south, and Joseph's family in their territory to the north. When you have written a description of the 7 portions of land and brought it to me, I will cast lots for you here in the presence of the Lord our God. But the Levites among you do not get a portion, because their inheritance is the priesthood of the Lord. Gad, Reuben, and the half-tribe of Manasseh have taken their inheritance beyond the Jordan to the east, which Moses the Lord's servant gave them." As the men prepared to go, Joshua commanded them to write down a description of the land, saying, "Go and survey the land, write a description of it, and return to me. I will then cast lots for you here in Shiloh in the presence of the Lord." So the men left, went through the land, and described it by towns in a document of 7 sections. They returned to Joshua at the camp in Shiloh. Joshua cast lots for them at Shiloh in the presence of the Lord, where he distributed the land to the Israelites according to their divisions. The lot came up for the tribe of Benjamin's descendants by their clans, and their allotted territory lay between Judah's descendants and Joseph's descendants. Their border on the north side began at the Jordan, descended to the slope of Jericho on the north, through the hill country westward, and ended at the wilderness round Beth-aven. From there the border went toward Luz, to the southern slope of Luz, that is Bethel. It then went down by Adaroth-Adar, over the hill south of lower Beth-horon. On the west side, from the hill facing Beth-horon on the south, the border curved, turning southward, and ended at Kiriath-baal, that is Kiriath-jearim, a city of the descendants of Judah. This was the west side of their border. The south side began at the edge of Kiriath-jearim, and the border extended westward. It went to the spring at the waters of Nephtoah. The border descended to the foot of the hill that faces Ben Hinnom Valley at the northern end of Rephaim Valley. It ran down Hinnom Valley toward the south Jebusite slope and downward to En-rogel. It curved northward and went to En-shemesh and on to Gileath, which is opposite the ascent of Adumim, and continued down to the stone of Bohan, son of Reuel. It then went north to the slope opposite the Arabah and proceeded into the plains. The border continued to the north slope of Beth-hoglah and ended at the northern bay of the Dead Sea, at the southern end of Jordan. This was the southern border. The Jordan formed the border on the east side. This was the inheritance of Benjamin's descendants by their clans according to its surrounding borders. These were the cities of the tribe of Benjamin's descendants by their clans: Jericho, Beth-hoglah, Emek-keziz, Beth-arabah, Zemaraim, Bethel, Avim, Perah, Ophrah, Shephar-ammoni, Ophni, and Geba, 12 cities with their settlements: Gibeon, Ramah, Beeroth, Mizpah, Chephirah, Mazah, Rechem, Irpeel, Taralah, Zela, Haleth, Jebus, that is Jerusalem, Gibeah, and Kiriath, 14 cities with their settlements. This was the inheritance for Benjamin's descendants by their clans. Chapter 19. The second lot came out for Simeon, for the tribe of his descendants by their clans, but their inheritance was within the inheritance given to Judah's descendants. Their inheritance included Beersheba, or Sheba, Moladah, Hazar-shual, Bela, Ezem, Eltolad, Bethel, Hormah, Ziklag, Beth-marcaboth, Hazar-suzzah, Beth-lebaoth, and Sharuin, 13 cities with their settlements. Ain, Rimmon, Ether, and Ashan, 4 cities with their settlements, and all the settlements surrounding these cities as far as Baalath-beer, Ramah in the south. This was the inheritance of the tribe of Simeon's descendants by their clans. The inheritance of Simeon's descendants was within the territory of Judah's descendants, because the share for Judah's descendants was too large. So Simeon's descendants received an inheritance within Judah's portion. The third lot came up for Zebulun's descendants by their clans. The territory of their inheritance stretched as far as Sarid. Their border went up westward to Merilah, reached Dabbesheth, and met at the brook east of Jokneam. From Sarid it turned due east along the border of Chisloth-Tabor, went to Deberath, and went up to Japhia. From there it went due east to Gath-hepher and to Eth-kazan. It extended to Rimmon, curving around to Neah. The border then circled around Neah on the north to Hanathon, and ended at Iphtah-el Valley, along the Kata, Nahala, Shimron, Idalah, and Bethlehem, 12 cities with their settlements. This was the inheritance of Zebulun's descendants by their clans, these cities and their settlements. The fourth lot came out for the tribe of Issachar's descendants by their clans. Their territory went from Jezreel and included Cheseloth, Shunem, Hephraim, Shion, Anahareth, Rabbith, Kishion, Ebez, Remeth, Engannim, Enhadah, and Beth-Pezzez. The border reached Tabor, Shahazumah, and Beth-Shemesh, and ended at the Jordan, 16 cities with their settlements. This was the inheritance of the tribe of Issachar's descendants, by their clans, the cities with their settlements. The fifth lot came out for the tribe of Asher's descendants, by their clans. Their boundary included Helkath, Heli, Beton, Akshaph, Elamelech, Amad, and Mishal, and reached westward to Carmel and Shihor-Libnath. It turned eastward to Beth-Dagon, reached Zebulun and Iphtah-el Valley, north toward Beth-Emek and Neiel, and went north to Cabul, Ebron, Rehob, Hammon, and Cana, as far as Greater Sidon. The boundary then turned to Ramah, as far as the fortified city of Tyre. It turned back to Hosah and ended at the Mediterranean Sea, including Mahalab, Akzib, Umah, Athek, and Rehob, 22 cities with their settlements. This was the inheritance of the tribe of Asher's descendants, by their clans, these cities with their settlements. The sixth lot came out for Naphtali's descendants, by their clans. Their boundary went from Heleph and from the oak in Zananim, including Adami-Necheb and Jabneel, as far as Lacham, and ended at the Jordan. To the west, the boundary turned to Asnath-Tabor, and went from there to Hukkok, reaching Zebulun to the south, Asher on the west, and Judah at the Jordan on the east. The fortified cities were Ziddim, Zer, Hamath, Rakath, Chinnereth, Adamah, Ramah, Hazor, Kedesh, Edrei, En-Hazor, Iron, Migdal-El, Horem, Beth-Anath, and Beth-Shemesh, 19 cities with their settlements. This was the inheritance of the tribe of Naphtali's descendants, by their clans, the cities with their settlements. The seventh lot came out for the tribe of Dan's descendants, by their clans. The territory of their inheritance included Zorah, Eshtaol, Ir-Shemesh, Shea-Laban, Ajalon, Ithlah, Elon, Timnah, Ekron, Eltekeh, Gibbethon, Baalath, Jehud, Ben-Abarak, Gath-Rimmon, Me-Jekon, and Rakon, with the territory facing Joppa. When the territory of the descendants of Dan slipped out of their control, they went up and fought against Leshem, captured it, and struck it down with the sword. So they took possession of it, lived there, and renamed Leshem after their ancestor Dan. This was the inheritance of the tribe of Dan's descendants by their clans, these cities with their settlements. When they had finished distributing the land into its territories, the Israelites gave Joshua son of Nun an inheritance among them. By the Lord's command, they gave him the city Timnath-Serah in the hill country of Ephraim, which he requested. He rebuilt the city and lived in it. These were the portions that the priest Eleazar, Joshua son of Nun, and the family heads distributed to the Israelite tribes by lot at Shiloh, in the Lord's presence at the entrance of the tent of meeting. So they finished dividing up the land. Chapter 20. Then the Lord spoke to Joshua, "Tell the Israelites, select your cities of refuge, as I instructed you through Moses, so that a person who kills someone unintentionally or accidentally may flee there. These will be a refuge from the avenger of blood. When someone flees to one of these cities, stands at the entrance of the city gate, and states his case before the elders of that city, they are to bring him into the city and give him a place to live among them. And if the avenger of blood pursues him, they must not hand the one who committed manslaughter over to him, for he killed his neighbor accidentally, and did not hate him beforehand. He is to stay in that city until he stands trial before the assembly, and until the death of the high priest serving at that time. Then the one who committed manslaughter may return home to his own city from which he fled." So they designated Kedesh in the hill country of Naphtali in Galilee, Shechem in the hill country of Ephraim, and Kiriath Arba, that is Hebron, in the hill country of Judah. Across the Jordan east of Jericho, they selected Bezer on the wilderness plateau from Reuben's tribe, Ramoth and Gilead from Gad's tribe, and Golan and Bashan from Manasseh's tribe. These are the cities appointed for all the Israelites and the aliens residing among them, so that anyone who kills a person unintentionally may flee there, and not die at the hand of the avenger of blood, until he stands before the assembly. Chapter 21. The Levite family heads approached the priest Eleazar, Joshua son of Nun, and the family heads of the Israelite tribes, At Shiloh in the land of Canaan they told him, "The Lord commanded through Moses that we be given cities to live in, with their pasture lands for our livestock." So the Israelites, by the Lord's command, gave the Levites these cities with their pasture lands from their inheritance. The lot came out for the Kohathite clans. The Levites who were in the descendants of the priest Aaron received 13 cities by lot from the tribes of Judah, Simeon, and Benjamin. The remaining descendants of Kohath received 10 cities by lot from the clans of the tribes of Ephraim, Dan, and the half-tribe of Manasseh. Gershon's descendants received 13 cities by lot from the clans of the tribes of Issachar, Asher, Naphtali, and the half-tribe of Manasseh in Bashan. Merari's descendants received 12 cities for their clans from the tribes of Reuben, Gad, and Zebulun. The Israelites gave these cities with their pasture lands around them to the Levites by lot, as the Lord had commanded through Moses. The Israelites gave these cities by name from the tribes of the descendants of Judah and Simeon to the descendants of Aaron from Kohathite clans of the Levites, because they received the first lot. They gave them Kiriath Arba, that is Hebron. Arba was the father of Anak, with its surrounding pasture lands in the hill city of Judah. But they gave the fields and settlements of the city to Caleb son of Jephunneh, as his possession. They gave to the descendants of the priest Aaron Hebron, the city of refuge for the one who commits manslaughter, with its pasture lands, Libnah with its pasture lands, Jatir with its pasture lands, Eshtemoa with its pasture lands, Holon with its pasture lands, Debir with its pasture lands, Ain with its pasture lands, Judah with its pasture lands, and Beth Shemesh with its pasture lands, 9 cities from these 2 tribes. From the tribe of Benjamin they gave Gibeon with its pasture lands, Geba with its pasture lands, Anathoth with its pasture lands, and Almon with its pasture lands, 4 cities. All 13 cities with their pasture lands were for the priests, the descendants of Aaron. The allotted cities to the remaining clans of Kohath's descendants, who were Levites, came from the tribe of Ephraim. The Israelites gave them Shechem, the city of refuge for the one who commits manslaughter, with its pasture lands in the hill city of Ephraim, Gezer with its pasture lands, Kibzaim with its pasture lands, and Beth Horon with its pasture lands, 4 cities. From the tribe of Dan they gave Eltekeh with its pasture lands, Gibbethon with its pasture lands, Aijalon with its pasture lands, and Gath-Rimmon with its pasture lands, 4 cities. From the half-tribe of Manasseh they gave Taanach with its pasture lands, and Gath-Rimmon with its pasture lands, 2 cities. All 10 cities with their pasture lands were for the clans of Kohath's other descendants. From the half-tribe of Manasseh they gave to the descendants of Gershon, who were one of the Levite clans, Golan, the city of refuge for the one who commits manslaughter, with its pasture lands in Bashan, and Bishtera with its pasture lands, 2 cities. From the tribe of Issachar they gave Kishion with its pasture lands, Daberath with its pasture lands, Jarmuth with its pasture lands, and En-gannim with its pasture lands, 4 cities. From the tribe of Asher they gave Mishal with its pasture lands, Abdon with its pasture lands, Helkath with its pasture lands, and Rehob with its pasture lands, 4 cities. From the tribe of Naphtali they gave Kedesh in Galilee, the city of refuge for the one who commits manslaughter, with its pasture lands, Hamath Dor with its pasture lands, and Kartan with its pasture lands, 3 cities. All 13 cities with their pasture lands were for the Gershonites by their clans. From the tribe of Zebulun they gave to the clans of the descendants of Merari, who were the remaining Levites, Jokneam with its pasture lands, Karta with its pasture lands, Dimnah with its pasture lands, and Nahalal with its pasture lands, 4 cities. From the tribe of Reuben they gave Bezer with its pasture lands, Jahaz with its pasture lands, Kedemoth with its pasture lands, and Mephaath with its pasture lands, 4 cities. From the tribe of Gad they gave Ramoth in Gilead, the city of refuge for the one who commits manslaughter, with its pasture lands, Mahanaim with its pasture lands, Heshbon with its pasture lands, and Jazer with its pasture lands, 4 cities in all. All 12 cities were allotted to the clans of Merari's descendants, the remaining Levi clans. Within the Israelite possession there were 48 cities in all, with their pasture lands for the Levites. Each of these cities had its own surrounding pasture lands. This was true for all the cities. So the Lord gave Israel all the land he had sworn to give their fathers, and they took possession of it and settled there. The Lord gave them rest on every side, according to all he had sworn to their fathers. None of their enemies were able to stand against them, for the Lord handed over all their enemies to them. None of the good promises the Lord had made to the house of Israel failed. Everything was fulfilled. Today's devotional thought is remembering how God has protected you, your family, your church, and the world. Today, remember the ways God has been a refuge for you and how he has promised security for your family and church. Acknowledge how God has demonstrated his divine protection. Take some time today to journal a prayer of thanks to God. While you pray, listen to the song Called Me Higher by All Sons and Daughters. This has been the Taking New Ground 21-Day Prayer and Fasting Podcast. Make sure to join us at Pleasant Valley Baptist Church on Sunday, March 24th at 5 p.m. for our night of prayer and worship, a chance to celebrate and reflect on all that God has done these past 21 days. For more information about the Taking New Ground initiative, please visit takingnewground.church. For more information about Pleasant Valley Baptist Church, please visit pleasantvalley.org or visit us online at any of our social media channels.